Okay, excellent. All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. I am calling this meeting of the Public Safety Communications Task Force to order. It is 1:05 on December 19th, 2023, and I'm Barbara Neal. The meeting is being recorded, excuse me, and that recording will be posted to the task force webpage following the meeting. We'll start with a roll call. If you could just verbally acknowledge that you're here, that'd be great. Jen Morrison.
I'm here.
Okay, Mike Dungis,
Here.
Ron Kumitz,
I am here.
and Jim Mack.
Here.
Okay, I do not see any other task force members on the line today. Also joining us, of course, is Callie Audet, our administrative support person. And we have several members of the public, so I will call your name and you can introduce yourself and any affiliation that you care to share. So according to my list, the first person is Jeffrey Burnham.
Good morning, Jeff Burnham, Springfield Police Department, just interested observer.
Thanks for joining us. Jim Morgan.
Good afternoon, Jim Morgan with Alteris Technology Partners.
Good afternoon. Philip Sisk.
Good afternoon, Phil Sisk, with Mission Critical Partners, but representing myself as an interested party today.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us. And Richard Townend.
Hi, Richard Townend with Alteris.
Hello. Okay, so that gets us through roll call. We're on to approval of the agenda. Do any task force members have any changes to the agenda? Hearing nothing, we'll consider that agenda approved and move on to approval of the minutes. We have two sets of minutes to consider. One is from the December 11th regular meeting number 13. Are there any corrections needed to those minutes? Okay, hearing nothing, let's go.
But would like no corrections,
ahead.
but want to again say thanks, Callie. The quality of the minutes is great, and when there's ever a change to be made, it's really small. So thank you so much.
Excellent. And then we'll consider the December 15th special meeting number 13 minutes. Any changes for those minutes? Okay. I will make a motion then that we approve the minutes as listed on today's agenda. Is there a second?
I will second that motion. I will second.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, could you raise your hand and indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
I see Mike, Jen, Jim, and Ron Kumitz. Thank you. And I also say aye. So the minutes are approved. Okay, on to public comment. I think we can, if folks could indicate, I don't see our usual public commenter has joined us today. So if anyone else from the public would like to comment, could you raise your hand or otherwise indicate? Okay, hearing nothing. Ron, you still have your hand up. Is that from the last vote or do you need to add something?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
My mouse went crazy. There you go.
All right. Okay, so it appears we have no takers for public comment today. So I will move on then to new business. Do task force members have any new business for today? Okay. Hearing nothing.
I guess, Barb, I guess as a matter of new business, we could share publicly that you and I have been in conversation with legislative members who have had a couple of different thoughts about what our best approach is to accessing the second $1 million that was appropriated.
Yes.
And that we believe, based on a review of the big bills language, et cetera, that were we to need access to more than $1 million in the first year of this project, that we would have to go through the budget adjustment process if the legislature was in session. And if the legislature was not in session, it would probably be a joint fiscal operation or request. Does that fairly sum up where we think things stand?
Yes, definitely does. I think it's a matter of just finding the right mechanism to ensure we have that access, or that there's a plan in place should we need it when they're out of session. So I think we're good on that. Are there any questions from anyone about that? You might recall that the Act 78 says right now that we are authorized to spend, I guess, spend up to $1 million. And if we need additional funding in calendar year 2023, we were to go back to joint fiscal, and would then potentially have access to another $1 million. So they're trying to make sure we continue to have that access into 2024, since the days of 2023 are dwindling. So we'll just continue to work through that process and keep you posted. Okay, I'm going to do one last check of my email. And the reason I did that is I was, if I had anything that we needed to discuss in executive session, I would move us to executive session. But I think at this point, I do not. I can give task force members an update that both of the ongoing contract negotiations, so for project management and for legal, continue to be underway. And so at this point on project management, a draft contract is with the vendor, and we expect, some back and forth on that. And the draft contract for the legal services is under development within the Department of Public Safety with their assistance. So those two things don't need to be said in executive session. I guess I want to give people an opportunity to consider whether we have anything else that would need to be considered in executive session. Okay. Sounds like not. Commissioner, do you have anything to add here, or are you ready to move on to the next agenda item?
I don't have anything else for new business. Thank you. And I don't
Okay.
believe we have anything for executive session today.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, it was good to keep the meeting on the calendar, though, in case we got some late breaking news on either of those projects that are underway. So we then obviously don't have any potential action as a result of an executive session. So we can set a next meeting date. I'm open for suggestions on how to handle that. I mean, we could schedule a meeting for next week. We could schedule a meeting when we have, when either of those two contracts have moved to a point where we need to discuss again. What say you?
I think as a matter of practicality, not having something imminent that we know we might need to take action on, like we don't have a sense that there's going to be something requiring our attention in the next few days, that we should schedule a regular meeting for the week of January 2nd.
Okay.
So I would say on either the 3rd or the 4th. That gives the entities we're in negotiations with time, given the holidays and people being away, gives us time to bring something to fruition. If for
Right.
some reason something came up between now and then and we had to call a special meeting between Christmas and New Year's, we could try to see if we could get a forum and run with that. So I would recommend that we just set a next regular meeting date for the 3rd or 4th of January.
That sounds reasonable to me. What do others think? Seeing some nods.
That
Yes,
sounds
okay.
reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Okay. We had talked at one point about making our regular meetings on Wednesdays, so I'm going to look right at Wednesday, January 3rd at, I think our time was typically 11 o'clock, and throw that out as a possibility.
That works for me.
Looking now.
Jim, Mac, did I see a nod from you?
Yeah, works for me.
Okay. Okay.
11 o'clock is a tight turnaround from my 10 o'clock call. It's fine, but I might do a Mike D and be like 5 minutes late every week.
How about
Sorry,
if we,
Mike, I couldn't
how about if
resist.
we, how about if we do 11:15?
If
That
we
works
did
for me.
11:15 to 12:30, I think generally we would have more than enough time. And then if we knew we had to have an extended executive session discussion or something, we could schedule a longer time. But 11:15 to 12:30 on Wednesdays, recurring every 2 weeks, sounds like a decent cadence, and we can put some special meetings in there as needed.
Okay, so shall we just add them all to the calendar? You said every 2 weeks, Wednesday at
Or
11:15 to 12:30.
yeah, I think and then we can shove some special meetings in there if we have
Mhm.
time-sensitive action items. But why don't we at least do that for, let's say, 4 meetings, so that's 8 weeks, and then we'll get a better sense of if we need to meet more often. If there's legislation under consideration that we need to touch base with more often, we might need to rethink that cadence. But let's at least get some stuff on the books before the legislative session starts.
That sounds great. It'll be great to block off those times too. So excellent. Okay, so I'm sure Callie will keep us all in order by sending out the meeting invites. And so our next one will be January 2nd. I'm sorry, January 3rd at 11:15. All righty. If there's nothing further, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a
I will
motion
second
to
that.
adjourn.
Thank you, Jim. Sound
I
like
think
Ron
you got
seconded
Jim
that.
on the front and Ron on the second. Yep.
Excellent. All in favor, raise your hand and indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Excellent. All hands are up, including Ron's. Everybody have a wonderful holiday, and we will talk to you on the other side of the new year. Thank you
Bye,
very
everyone.
much.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays all.